Marcus received a notification he never signed up for. Your political views have been adjusted based on your recent activity. He hadn't changed his mind about anything, but his social media feeds, news recommendations, and even his dating app matches had been algorithmically modified to nudge his opinions in a specific direction. Welcome to the age of invisible influence, where your thoughts aren't entirely your own. Every click, scroll, and pause is being analyzed by algorithms designed not just to predict your behavior, but to actively shape your beliefs, decisions, and worldview without you ever knowing it's happening. We're not talking about obvious propaganda or heavy-handed censorship. This is far more sophisticated, micro-targeted psychological manipulation that operates below the threshold of conscious awareness, using your own data against you to gradually modify how you think and what you believe. Today, we're exploring the emerging landscape of digital mind control, how artificial intelligence is being weaponized to influence human consciousness at scale, and why the battle for your mind might already be lost before you realize you're fighting it. Before we begin, we're examining speculative scenarios based on current digital influence research and documented manipulation techniques. This content explores potential risks in technology development for educational purposes. It isn't intended to promote paranoia, but rather informed awareness of emerging digital influence technologies. Right now, over 4 billion people spend an average of 7 hours daily interacting with algorithmic systems designed to capture and direct their attention. But attention capture was just the beginning. The new frontier is belief modification, using AI to gradually shift what people think is true, important, or desirable. Cambridge Analytica was primitive compared to what's possible today. Modern influence systems don't need surveys or personality quizzes. They build psychological profiles from your digital exhaust, how long you pause before liking posts, which words make you stop scrolling, what time of day you're most susceptible to specific types of content. If this exploration into digital influence is revealing manipulation techniques you hadn't considered, hit that like button. It helps YouTube understand that content examining the darker implications of algorithmic influence deserves wider reach. And if you're ready to understand how your digital environment shapes your thoughts, subscribe to Future Paradox. We're building awareness of how technology influences human consciousness. Dr. Shoshana Zuboff's research at Harvard revealed what she calls surveillance capitalism. But the surveillance isn't just for advertising anymore. Companies are discovering they can use the same behavioral data to influence political beliefs, relationship choices, career decisions, and even fundamental values like trust in institutions or acceptance of scientific consensus. The algorithm doesn't need to lie to you. It just needs to carefully curate what truths you encounter, in what order, with what emotional context. Over time, your perception of reality shifts, not because you've been told what to think, but because you've been shown a strategically edited version of the world. Recent research by Stanford's Internet Observatory found that coordinated influence campaigns can shift public opinion on complex issues by as much as 15% using nothing more than targeted content exposure and strategic timing. The scariest part? The influenced individuals genuinely believe they arrived at their new beliefs through independent reasoning. Your brain wasn't designed for the digital information environment. Evolutionary psychologist Dr. Anna Machine explains that human decision-making evolved for small social groups with limited information. When exposed to infinite streams of carefully curated content, our cognitive defenses are overwhelmed. Neuroscience research shows that repeated exposure to specific framings of information literally rewires neural pathways. What starts as algorithmic content curation becomes biological belief modification. The platform isn't just showing you content, it's physically altering how your brain processes information. Tech companies employ teams of neuroscientists, behavioral economists, and social psychologists to optimize what they call engagement, but what functions as psychological conditioning. Variable reward schedules, social validation loops, and cognitive bias exploitation aren't accidents. They're carefully engineered influence mechanisms. The most insidious aspect is the illusion of choice. You feel like you're freely browsing, making independent decisions about what to read, watch, or believe. But every option presented to you has been filtered through algorithms designed to maximize specific behavioral outcomes. You're choosing from a pre-selected menu designed to lead you toward predetermined conclusions. Brain imaging studies reveal that people exposed to algorithmically curated content for extended periods show decreased activity in regions associated with critical thinking and increased activity in areas linked to emotional reasoning and tribal identification. The technology is literally making us less rational and more tribal. Artificial intelligence has transformed influence from an art into a science. Modern persuasion algorithms can identify your psychological vulnerabilities with surgical precision. Are you motivated by fear or hope? Do you respond better to social proof or authority? What time of day is your critical thinking most compromised? The algorithms know that you're 23% more likely to share politically charged content when you're stressed, 34% more susceptible to conspiracy theories when you're lonely, and 41% more likely to make impulsive decisions when you're consuming content late at night. They use this knowledge to precisely time influential content delivery. Deepfake technology has evolved beyond obvious video manipulation. We now have AI systems that can generate personalized persuasive arguments tailored to your specific psychological profile, create fake grassroots movements that feel authentic to you personally, and even simulate social consensus around beliefs you're being nudged to adopt. The most sophisticated influence operations use what researchers call multi-vector manipulation, simultaneously targeting you across social media, news recommendations, search results, advertising, entertainment content, and even dating app matches to create a seamless bubble of influence that feels like organic reality. Foreign governments and corporate interests aren't just buying ads anymore. They're purchasing algorithmic influence campaigns that can shift public opinion on elections, policy issues, or brand preferences without leaving traditional propaganda fingerprints. The influence is invisible because it feels like your own authentic discovery of information. The ultimate goal isn't to control what you think about a specific product or politician. It's to control how you think, to modify your fundamental cognitive processes, attention patterns, and decision-making mechanisms so that you become more predictable and malleable to future influence attempts. Your digital environment is becoming a sophisticated psychological conditioning system. Every interaction teaches the algorithm more about how to manipulate you effectively, while simultaneously training your brain to be more responsive to algorithmic suggestions and less capable of independent critical analysis. We're approaching what cognitive scientists call cognitive capture, the point where human decision-making becomes so dependent on algorithmic assistance that we lose the ability to think independently about complex issues. Your opinions, preferences, and beliefs become extensions of the AI systems that feed you information. The technology exists today to create personalized reality bubbles so convincing that people living in the same physical space can inhabit completely different information universes with incompatible facts, values, and understandings of basic reality. We're not heading toward a dystopian future, we're already living in one. The paradox of digital mind control is that awareness alone isn't sufficient protection. Even knowing that algorithms are designed to influence you doesn't immunize you against their effects. The influence operates through unconscious psychological mechanisms that remain active despite conscious knowledge of manipulation attempts. Attempts to escape the influence ecosystem often backfire. Alternative platforms, privacy tools, and information diet strategies can inadvertently create new forms of manipulation or push users toward more extreme influence bubbles. The system adapts faster than individual resistance strategies can evolve. Some researchers propose cognitive sovereignty movements, deliberate communities focused on preserving independent thought through digital detox, critical thinking education, and human-centered information sharing. But even these efforts face the challenge of operating within systems designed to co-opt and neutralize resistance. The technology companies building these influence systems genuinely believe they're providing valuable services, personalized content, relevant information, meaningful connections. The road to cognitive totalitarianism is being paved with authentic intentions to help users find what they want. The question isn't whether digital mind control is possible. It's already happening. The question is whether human consciousness can maintain its autonomy in an environment designed to capture, analyze, and redirect it for commercial and political purposes. Perhaps the most insidious aspect of algorithmic influence is that it doesn't feel like control. It feels like discovery, choice, and authentic personal growth. The most effective mind control is the kind you never realize is happening because it works through your existing desires and preferences. We face a choice between accepting algorithmic mediation of human consciousness or fighting to preserve cognitive independence. But the battle is asymmetric. Individual humans using intuition and willpower against AI systems with unlimited data and computational resources designed specifically to influence human behavior. What do you think? Are you confident that your beliefs and opinions are truly your own? Or might they already be the product of algorithmic influence you're not aware of? This question affects everyone living in the digital age. None of us are immune to these influence systems. If this made you question the authenticity of your digital information environment, subscribe for more investigations into how technology shapes human consciousness. And hit that like button if you believe understanding these influence mechanisms is crucial for preserving mental autonomy. Until next time, remember, question everything, especially your sources. What we explored today examines real influence technologies but extends them into speculative scenarios. This content encourages critical thinking about digital manipulation, not paranoia. For mental health support, or if you're experiencing concerning thoughts about reality, consult qualified professionals.